Kids are so bad at lying. This is something that I've noticed with my 8-year-old. I wish that he would just hit me or something instead of ever trying to tell a lie. So the most common one, I don't know, in terms of children, I don't know, Dick, if you have any.
I don't have any. Woody has.
I've got a 6-year-old nephew that I'm very close with.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you've what stages of lying you're at, but so we have to work on bathroom stuff sometimes. Make sure you always wash your hands when you come into the bathroom. But sometimes I'll wander by the hallway, I'll hear the toilet flush, and he'll come walking out, and I'll say, Nathan, did you wash your hands? And I'll go, oh yeah, Dad. And I'll go, if I go into the bathroom and check the sink, is it going to be wet? And he'll be like, well, no, but I like to clean it up with the towel after to make sure it's clean. And I'm like, Nathan, do you think we should? And he's like, okay, wait, Dad. I'll go wash my hands again just to make sure they're clean. Jesus.
And
stop. Just stop.
You remember being a kid, and in his head, he's like, that was a close call.
Yeah, I mean, every time he lies, I have to think back, like, what did I say when I was a kid? I honestly thought my parents believed me. You know, like, how many times did they walk in with me hunched over like this? And it's like, Dad, I'm turning my pocket inside out. What's up? You know, just go away. You know, like, oh, God.
I got caught putting glue like on a kid's seat. I thought I'd only done this once. I remembered recently. I tried this twice. The first one was a fail in kindergarten. I used a glue stick. The second time he sat down and it didn't even get stuck. He just stood up and it was like still goopy and sticky and it wasn't even funny like I imagined in my head. But the first time I tried it, I put it on there and the teacher came in and said, are you putting glue on the chair? I'm like, no. She was watching me do it, and then she made me clean it up. Yeah, that back then.
Well, you mentioned the family computer space. So back back before everybody had a literal supercomputer that they could carry around with them. Some of us had one computer for the whole household, and I remember so back then computers to me still were voodoo magic. You know, if you unplug a computer while it's on, it is irrevocably destroyed. Nothing you can do will save it. This is true of every electronic device that is connected to the computer. I wanted to now, because we couldn't masturbate in the main room, there's people in the kitchen. I thought, well, what if I just printed off some porn and took it upstairs with me? And now I've never printed. I printed like school reports, and they print real quick. They just come out. Like, okay, so I figured I could probably print like a couple pornographic pictures, whatever. So I think at the time I was probably 11. I had pictures of whatever anime, Goku, Vegeta, somebody with a monster, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So I'll just print this one, and then I'll take it upstairs with me. So, you know, I'm real crafty. I make sure
black and white or color.
Oh, full color.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So I push the print button on this, and then real quick, I Alt F4, I clear the cookies, the browser history, and everything. And I think I'm real smooth, and I walk over to the printer, and
it's going to take 30 minutes.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And so like a minute or two, and these are long minutes, okay? It's only maybe 1/20th of the way there. And I'm getting real nervous because I'm just standing next to the printer, and if anybody walks by, and I can't unplug the printer because I don't know what's going to happen to it. I don't know if it's going to be destroyed. You go on the computer, and I try to find a way to cancel the print, but dude, back then printers were impossible to work with. I pushed a million buttons. I couldn't stop anything. And my parents are walking by in the bathroom. I think my sister comes through the room. She doesn't say anything, and I'm freaking out. So I try to rip the page out of the printer, and it's growling at me. It's the feeder is making noises as it's trying to like print the thing. And by the end of it, I've ripped maybe 20 pages out because it keeps printing like half of a picture. And
was this the scrolling kind with the holes on the side?
Whatever one like fed it through the top. Yeah, is it like slowly And by the time my parents walked in, I don't know what I looked like. I must have been a disaster. I told my mom I was trying to print something out for a video game, and only the bottom, you could only see like the bottom of like Vidal's boot. And like the dripping cum, but you couldn't really tell what it was. But print it off, and it's like, I guess it didn't work, Mom. This was one of the most stressful moments of my entire life. Oh my God.
That's so fucking funny.
Do you remember the picture, Destiny?
I actually do. If you would, okay.
Have you ever found it?
Maybe if this gets posted on the subreddit, I've never looked for it. Okay, but it was it was like a floating picture. I think Vidal was being held in the air and being by like Cell or some shit with his like massive tail. Something like that. If there, maybe this is, I don't know if this is specific enough. There might be a million of these types, but if I saw it again, I would absolutely remember it.
Can you draw it? Can you draw any kind of approximation so that the top authors could
If you would have tuned in to the booby painting stream that Taylor mentioned, you would know I have absolutely zero artistic talent whatsoever. So no, I would not be able to draw anything whatsoever.
Well,
printing. Man, I'm glad I wasn't smart enough to have thought of that because it would have gone the exact same way. I wouldn't have been ballsy enough to do color. Good for you.
I like it.
Wouldn't have allowed that. Trying to think of other times. Can you guys think of any other times when we were kids? There's so many stories. All the times I gave my brother a concussion on accident because WWE, it only happened twice. And only one of the times I'm going to say I'm blameless for all of it.
Carry on. So the same thing would have happened if you weren't there.
Actually, that's not true. One of those times he didn't even get concussed. The time that I tied him up and put him in a wagon on top of a hill and pushed him down it and he ran into a tree by happenstance. It wasn't on purpose. He was meant to just go see how fast he would go. And he hit his head. He didn't even get concussed. It was only the time that we were playing WWE and I was practicing the finishing moves in our concrete unfinished basement that I smacked his head and he couldn't remember that we had spaghetti 20 minutes before.
I agree. That doesn't sound like your fault at all.
No, it wasn't I didn't mean to.
That doesn't make it less your fault.
No, it does. It does.
That's not how
kindergarten rules. It turns out like they need to know that when you're playing WWE 1998 and one of the special moves of the coolest character is grab them around the waist and slam them down, that I'm going to do it on concrete. And I'm going to remember the sickening crack of his head on that concrete for the rest of my life.
I mean, who could have predicted that would hurt him? You can't know some things.
I was like 7.
To be
but I was
fair,
built like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you seem pretty indestructible, right?
Yeah. Like, do you remember having that like not cogent, but that thought in your head? I remember like watching movies and shit where someone gets shot and I'm like, yeah, if I got shot, that wouldn't have happened to me. I'd be fine. Oh, if I got hit by a car, probably the car that would be damaged. Like when I was like 5 and 6 years old, the idea of me dying wasn't even real. Like you think I'm indestructible. Everyone else is just, it's like solipsistic in a way where like everybody's a little actor in my movie. And then you get a little older and you're like, oh shit, like that kid in my class who got hit by a car and definitely didn't damage the car at all. So
I have a Patreon question. Are you guys ready for this? Yeah, Patreon. Yes. I forget what level it is. Maybe $10. You can ask questions.
$10, yeah.
Here it is. If you were to wake up in prison and call your significant other to tell him what happened, what would your significant other initially think you were in prison for?
I tweeted out when I was younger. I don't know why. I was real dumb. I tweeted out a lot of bomb threats. I remember that I was at ATL.
Why would you do that?
This was the only time in my life. They say go to an airport 2 hours early. I'm in there 35 minutes early, skittering by. I don't want to wait in the airport. I don't want to stand near everybody. I want to go through security. In Omaha, it's a very small airport, right?
Yeah.
For larger airports, obviously, you show up a little bit earlier. But I had to fly out of, I think it was ATL for something. And I decided, I'll be responsible today. And I showed up the full 2 hours. It was a domestic flight, 2 hours early. Okay, this is a phenomenal effort on my part. And I am waiting in this fucking line, and it is getting longer, even ahead of me. It's somehow more people are getting up there. I don't know how. They've got one guy open. They're bringing people back from other places. And I'm standing there for an hour, okay? And this is back in 2013, before we had chairs that came out of our asses, right? I had to stand on my own 2 legs, okay? No shortcuts or anything. And I remember I took out my phone, my 40,000 Twitter follower account, and I was like, man, if I was in Al-Qaeda or Taliban or whatever we had back then, whoever we were fighting in the Middle East, if I was Taliban, I would bomb the out of this security line because I know I could kill at least 200. And I don't know how. I never got no fly list and no one ever talked to me over any of this shit. But if I went to jail, that would be, they would immediately assume like, okay, you finally got caught in one of these dumb fucking tweets. Yeah.
And then you did it again and again. Also, the Atlanta airport, even more opportunistic. Yeah.
The one bomb threat that actually got my Twitter banned was I told my ISP that I needed the address to the local, the node that my uplink was going through because all of my traffic was fucked and other traffic in the neighborhood was. And I said that if they give me the node, I would go ahead and bomb it for them so they could replace it with something better. And I actually lost my Twitter account for that. Yeah.
Oh, it's a goddamn shame. That's a good joke. I don't know. I don't do enough fun stuff. I've always wanted to believe that I have what it takes to rob a bank. And if I found out that I had cancer, I would absolutely put all of my time, effort, and money into learning how to rob a bank and pull off a heist. So maybe that. It's just something fun about that to me. I get blank stares when I talk about this because I think I'm the only one who thinks all the time about robbing a bank and how fun it would be.
I keep seeing these bank robbers get away with non-life-changing amounts of money. You know, $1,000, $3,000. Welcome, but
in my fantasy, it's more than that.
Yeah, like,
and I'm dressed as the Joker. With the
you need to
paint.
watch. What is the movie I keep recommending? The Heist, Money Heist, Money Heist. I think it's called. You don't know Money Heist?
I don't know.
It's on Netflix, and I'm sure you'd really enjoy it. They really plan out an elaborate heist.
I do love bank robber movies. Yeah.
Can I get somebody here? So I've never asked someone because it would sound incredibly weird. Okay. But can someone here confirm at gas stations and shit, do they really only ever have like $20 at the register? How is that possible? What if somebody comes in?
Lying.
They have to be. But I've never wanted to walk up and be like, how much money is actually in the register? Because for obvious reasons. But like, why do they put that shit out there?
They have a lockbox?
Yeah,
Some
sometimes
places
they just
have a timed lockbox where if they get over $20 or $100,
Oh, they just
have
like
to
slide
stick
it
a
in?
box, and it only opens on either a manager's code or like the Brinks truck. When they come around, they got a key for it.
I can't think of when, but yeah, we had an environment like that where I worked, and there was like a hole in the safe. Like you could put money in the top of it, but I don't have any access to get inside of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've always wanted
Like a
to
piggy
walk
bank.
in and like try to be cute. Like I'll get like a bag of Cheetos and I'll pay with like a 50 and I'll see what they give me for change and I could get them. But I never had a $50 bill, so I never got to test it out. Now I don't care that much. So
I texted my wife. I was calling you from jail. Would be your first guess at my crime, and she said trespassing. That's what you think of me? That's what you think of me? That's the coolest thing I do? I am the one who knocks.
that was such a senior citizen response too. Not to knock either of you, but trespassing.
On purpose or on accident? Does it get worse?
She's typing something. I've got the 3 little dots. We'll see if anything good comes in.
Might get a lot cooler, don't worry.
Probably exposing myself. I could easily see me doing that, being too drunk. I hate pants. I fucking hate pants with a passion.
You hate shorts?
I hate wearing clothes. I hate it.
Oh.
Always
well,
have.
what's wrong with you? You don't need a shirt for this show.
Woody, I've embarrassed myself enough on the drunk show. Maybe next time you'll get lucky and I'll just shit for you, but it's not going to be today. I could see that one. Or drugs. Maybe possession. They're making it harder to get arrested in California with possession now, though.
I've got faith.
Here.
Not
rape, though. I want to make that clear.
It's so suspicious. Well, it totally wouldn't be rape.
Jesus.
Definitely not underage rape. That's not what anyone would think.
Definitely not that. If anyone was thinking that. Destiny, I think the most anti-government, like the closest I've ever been to just saying fuck it and converting to be a sleeper cell for ISIS was also at the ATL airport.
Yeah.
Something about that place, just like the single file line that they make you march past the drug dogs just to get in.
One at a time, walk slowly, eyes forward. Yeah, holy shit. It's some dystopian shit.
I was triggered as fuck. That was horrible. I'm glad I didn't have my Twitter then.
One of the most traumatizing experiences. Have you ever seen like the clear lines where you can like pay like $200 a year and you get like expedited or expedited fucking shit through the airport? I went to if you've ever flown out of SeaTac, Seattle, Tacoma, or whatever, the airport in Washington, the big one in Seattle. I went into this airport for my flight, and again, I try to show up to these like at least 1 or 2 hours early because I know that these can be bullshit. And so this airport has, when I walk in, 2 of the longest lines I've ever seen. One line is at that end of the airport going this way, and then the other line is at the other end of the airport going that way. So I'm like, holy shit. So I walk through, get my boarding pass, and I walk to this one long line, and it's actually goes from one end to the other. So I walk all the way to the back of this fucking line, and it goes around the corner, and I'm like, what? And I turn the corner, and I walk to the end, and I turn to the right. And the both lines that I saw, it was actually just one fucking line. They went all the fucking way around the airport. And I walked to the front and I said, how much for that clear shit? And I fucking bought it and I felt like a loser. And I walked to the fucking front with everybody in that line, because when you do it, whenever you have like those passes to the front, everybody looks at you like,
Oh, yeah.
Rich
Yeah,
piece of shit.
one of
And I'm like,
those
oh, fuck, get me the fuck out of here. Okay, just send me through. I don't give a fuck. Holy shit.
I was in a long
Oh, my
line. This
God.
is only a few months ago, like April. And the security line was way longer than it normally is for Raleigh's airport. All right.
Mhm.
I'm nervous I'm going to miss my flight. I don't have a ton of time. It's like 7 to 8 a.m. And I'm just like, fuck. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to make it. And this guy comes, and he's obviously nervous, too. He's all stressed and anxious. And he's cutting in front of everyone. He's just walking through the security line instead of waiting in the security line. But everyone's letting him do it. And I see him coming my way because I'm deep in the line at this point. And I'm like, everyone's just going to we're all in this like tacit agreement to let this guy cut. And he gets to me. I put my hand on his shoulder and I say, whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to miss my flight. I'm going to miss my flight. And I was like, what time is your flight? It was also at 7 a.m. I show him my ticket. And I'm like, get in the line. You're not special. And he did. He went all the way to the fucking back of the line. Because he...
Oh, this is the kind of thing I like to fantasize about. And everybody cheered kind of moment.
No.
People always talk about like in these like killer moments, like where there's a mass shooter, there's a bank robbery, like you'd run forward and you would like do the heroic thing.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I
Oh,
lost him.
no. Yeah, no, there
Somebody
was...
broke in. The FBI finally got him. Mom threat.
One bomb threat too many. No, there was nothing heroic about it. He was a...
Oh, Woody, there is. Don't downplay it. That is very to stand up to a line cutter and tell them to go fuck themselves. They'll sing songs about you.
He wasn't American, and I think that may have been like part of why everyone gave him a pass except me. Like he just seemed like he was Asian. He seemed like a confused, rushed Asian guy, and I think they all had sympathy on him except for me. I was just the biggest asshole in line, I guess.
You're moving again, Destiny.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Yeah,
What were you-
I was.
yeah.
Oh,
you,
go ahead,
you were just about to say something about those go off moments.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, people always pretend that they'd be heroes in these moments, but most people can't even bring themselves to like, I'm gonna tell my neighbor to be a little bit more quiet, right? Like that. You open the door and their heart starts fucking racing, and you knock on the door and you're like, I'm gonna fucking tell him. And some guy opens the door and it's like, what? And you're like, can you please just be a little bit quieter? And it's like the most action that these people have had in their entire lives. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the one of those you guys think about the most? Like the line one is classic. Shutting down a butter in line, shutting down a family of Italians at a restaurant. That's a fantasy I have. Getting them to rise the
a
volume.
family of Italians. I had to process that for a second. But yeah, I could see them all yelling at each other.
One at a time.
all over the place.
You know, yeah, just wine, pasta all over.
I've
You're also
probably
at an
told
Italian
this
restaurant.
before, but so again, I'm at an airport. This is a long time ago. I'm probably 24 or something like that on a business trip. And our airplane gets delayed, but like by a lot, 6 hours or something like that. And there's this group, I don't know where they're from, like one of those less successful European countries, Slovakia maybe, I don't know. And they're all yelling at each other. And they're just like, it's just animated conversation in another language, and they're surrounding me all over the place, right? Like they dominate this waiting room. And they're like partying, yelling, arguing. Several of them broke out a musical instrument, and they're playing that together. Like it wasn't a guitar.
That is beyond rude.
It wasn't a guitar. It was like a smaller guitar and more rounded and shit. And I'm like, just like reading or something. I think I had a book. And then they start arguing against each other, and they're pointing their fingers like to get on each other, but they're sitting on my left and my right. And they had their hand in between my eyes and my book as they're pointing at each other. And that's what it took. I was just like, dude, come on. Like that was when I broke. And I was like, this is outrageous. You guys are yelling, you're screaming. Now you're in my space. And then he made me feel like an asshole for like, I thought I had the high ground here. But then he starts apologizing, and he apologizes so furiously. I feel like this is a tactic that maybe in his culture is more commonly employed.
What are they, like Eastern European or something?
Something like that. Yeah, call them Croatian. I don't know what the fuck they are. But so he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And he starts apologizing on behalf of everybody else there, his family, how he's disturbing. And now I'm like, dude, like it's okay.
If you put the tambourine away, we're even.
Yeah, no, it starts making me apologize for not being okay with him clearly being outrageous.
Dude, playing an instrument in public like that while you're trying
a couple of them.
That's even ruder than people who like wear their headphones on their neck and blast music out of it. And it's like, you're wearing the thing that lets you do this. Come on, man.
You joking about the tambourine, but you're close. Like there was some sort of guitar variant, like a jar with beads on it that they're shaking, like a maraca type thing. Like
they brought a jar with beads. These people suck.
They really did, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, that is funny though. Like I don't remember what comedian it is. Or actually, no, it might be John Mulaney, who is like the time between when you see a band set up in a public space and then they start to play as like the slow motion in a movie where you're like, no, like the mariachi band's about to fucking go off. I hate music in public. Should be illegal.
I like live music. I don't know why I didn't this time. Maybe because it was just a mess. But yeah, if I see, even if like that guy that brings the guitar to the party and gets all the attention, I'm like the guy giving him attention. Do you know Wonderwall?
Oh, we found one. Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm the one. I can't play, but I'm the guy that likes it.
We were about to pack it up forever until this guy came over.
He comes to every party hoping Woody will be there. That guy, maybe he'll be here this time. Oh well, fuck it. Here I go.
Damn. Guess we'll have to keep doing this at all public functions.
Until Woody finally goes to a party again.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, one of Taylor's claim to fame is hitting puberty at like 9.
Hit me like a train. Like I'm just like
without exaggeration, could you have grown your current beard at 12?
No, I couldn't have done that.
No?
Definitely not at 12. I remember though, because there was this one fucking weird autist at our school that got ripped on for everything. Like he was just fucking strange and weird, and not even like the kind where it's like, oh, at least he's friendly. No, he wasn't friendly. He was a prick, and he started.
Because you guys were bullying him all the time. Jesus
no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
This is the meanest thing I've ever said about him right here. I actually had him over to play Halo more than one time because I felt so bad for him. I never made fun. Because he was the kid that I always thought, even later into high school and shit, like I am always going to be nice to this kid. And I'm going to continue to be nice to him because if I'm going to be the guy in the parking lot, if he ever shows up with a gun, he'll go, Taylor, go home. And so I knew I'd be safe from that. I was always cool to that kid, but he was weird, and he started shaving in 8th grade, which was like way earlier than most people. And it was like the those like thick hairs that like you can step on and give yourself a splinter. Like sometimes I get those that'll come out of your beard, and he got those, and he did not take care of it. And people ripped on him all the time, being like, you have facial hair. It looks terrible. You look awful. You look gross, fatty. That had nothing to do with it, but they call him that too. And I remember being so afraid of being like that guy that I had my dad teach me to shave. And like all of 8th grade, I meticulously would shave to make sure nobody could tell that I was growing a bunch of facial hair. And then next year, everybody decided it was cool to start growing beards because one of the popular kids started growing a beard. And then I just let it go. And it didn't look great for a while. But man, I hope you're doing well out there, Guy. Last time I spoke to you, you helped me at I totally forgot about this. Last time I saw that guy was like 5 years ago. I was at a mall in St. Louis, and I was in the food court, and I went up to the Chick-fil-A, and I was waiting, and it was a set of like 3 cashiers because Chick-fil-A's are always busy. And as soon as I get in line, one of them leaves, and this motherfucker comes around the corner, and he recognizes me. And I get up to the front. He's like, Taylor, how's it going, man? I'm like, hey, pretty good. And he's like, that's good to hear. really not going well with me. My mom died. I was like,
That's too bad, man.
Jesus.
man, can I get a number one and a Diet Coke? Oh, that was the most uncomfortable I've ever been at a Chick-fil-A. Most of the time, I feel very welcome, knowing I'm safe. So,
One of the worst things that I can think of when I remember back to how I was as a kid, I was very stubborn. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I learned very well through experience. I imagine most people learn through experience. If I could go back in time and tell myself at 16, like some very valuable life advice stuff, I know for a fact there is nothing I could say that I would listen to at 16. Even if I knew it was me coming from the future, I would still think I would know better at 16 or 17 than future me. Like I would think like something went wrong. He sold out. He turned into a dumbass. Fuck my schoolwork. I don't care. Like, I'll get this shit figured out. I guess to some extent I kind of did, but fuck, man. How many people, if you could
You're
go
doing
back,
it in real time. You're out
Yeah.
there yourself.
if you could go back and try it, man, 20 minutes a day on schoolwork, you get fucking all B's at least. Like, oh my God, high school would have been so much easier if I would have just spent a little more time. It's so stupid how much shit you waste in school.
I'm not like blithering idiot, but I got the grades of someone who is. I really thought I went above and beyond if I went as far as to copy someone else's work. If like you said, if I had just spent a few minutes every day,
Like 20 or 30 minutes, and it would have been, oh
Yeah.
man.
I'd have gone to it. Like it, I'm pretty happy with how life turned out. I don't know how if that alternative life is even better, but
Yeah.
like my freshman year of college,
Easier.
I cut my own hair for a while. And it was literally, I took a buzzer and it was like, I just did it and then looked in the mirror, was like, it doesn't look that great, but I'm saving some money and I don't have to go anywhere. Like I could just go hang out and do that now. And like looking back, it's like, man, I was walking around looking like a fucking skinhead for no reason. And
I
all
don't know.
because nobody told me you look like a dumbass, grow your hair out like an adult.
I was
I
so
tried
broke.
to save money. Oh, go ahead.
I looked into it, but didn't pull the. Why didn't I sell my cum? They're buying cum for like $50 a load. That's like $600 a month for me.
What you need to be doing is like
You
the
have to
market's
not jerk
low
off
right
if
now.
you do that.
Oh,
That-
what
I
are you, a
looked
narc?
into it. Yeah, I looked into it recently just because I wanted to like get, how much is it worth? Like I know you guys are selling this based on qualifications. How much is mine worth? So I looked at it and it was like you can't jerk off at all until you come in and deposit. It was totally impossible to do.
Well, hold
how
on.
long
Wait.
a period
For
of
how
time?
many days? Yeah, this is an
Like
important.
5. You come in
That's
once a week.
impossible.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like after a car accident, you wake up from a coma. The first thing you do is go and donate your semen because that's the only time you get.
5 days. Jesus.
Way too much. And you got to do it for like 6 weeks or something like that.
That
Terrible
doesn't work
deal.
in the Woodworth household going back generations.
Just 5 days. Yeah.
I think
Alright, before
the
we talk
worst thing
about,
is until you've actually like experienced something. Because nowadays, like I realize, like I've learned so much through experience that a lot of people were saying, like, "Hey, you should know this." It's like one of the big things, and maybe people listening here, networking is probably like 80 to 90% of whatever the fuck you do. It's incredibly important. Now you're gonna think for some period of your life that like you can get away with not networking, and 0.00001% of you are so talented and so good that maybe you get away with it. But for the rest of everyone, even like the extraordinary people, networking is incredibly important. It was really hard for me to learn this, but there are so many people that say so many stupid things as well as true things that until you've actually gotten the experience, you can't look back or you can't tell like who's even telling you the good advice. Because I try to look out today, like what's some stuff that I could learn from other people that I wouldn't have to learn, by experience? Like, can I save myself some trouble? But then when you try to figure out like, who's right or who's wrong, it seems like it's impossible till you've actually experienced it yourself,
Yeah.
Destiny, you've got to read The Art of the Deal. It's got a lot of good advice.
All the answers are right in
Sold
there.
well.
Oh God.
I think part of it is like if somebody has a good tip, they got maybe 3, but then people keep coming back to them and add like, okay, what else you got? So they'll just start making shit up. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Wow.
the first one was good. Now nobody can tell if you got any gems in there left or not.
Are you going to call out Elon Musk by name, or are you just going to leave it ambiguous
Yeah,
like that?
exactly.
I see people like that, like the Elon Musks and the Jordan Petersons, who like whatever their initial thing was, So it's usually really good. Like Jordan
Yeah.
Peterson's self-help stuff is pretty good. Like I watch it on stream, people laugh. I was like, this is actually really good stuff. Or like Elon's, like, you know, the engineering work he does is really good. But when these guys like step out of that, and they get a little bit too full of themselves, some real dumb shit starts coming out. Oh God, it's so painful. Yeah.
We had Jordan Peterson on this show
Yeah.
How long ago?
Was he
Oh,
high
like
when you had him
3
on?
years ago. No, but
Oh.
he still sounded like Kermit a little bit, but he was
Mhm.
friendly. He was like, you need to
we-
make sure that you don't masturbate and pick up your clothes on the ground.
All your problems are related to your dad. You've got to slay the dragon. This is some serious shit.
You have to slay the dragon to save your father, and you're imagining just like ancient Greece to fight your father for fucking your wife, but you secretly want it and you like it, and that confuses you. So you write a book for kids, and whatever the hell.
He was really
Yeah.
good on the show, actually. I didn't have
He
a
was
ton of
good.
background on him, so like I
I
don't.
didn't
learning
understand why he was controversial. I haven't followed him like since that show, because my understanding and most of what he went through on the show was like his like legal shit, and then being like basically a quasi basic bitch father figure advice for people who doesn't seem like they have one. So they're
Mhm.
like, he's like, clean your room, don't overeat, don't do drugs to the point that you're debilitated. People are like, oh,
What I
Yeah,
like.
because his advice is clean your room and not like no, seriously, like work out for an hour 3 or 4 times a week. Like it's difficult. It's way more difficult than he's making it sound. He's like, well, you know, lobsters. It's like, all right, well, just to read his book then. Just buy his fucking book. Your whole life will get better.
His father said that we were his favorite interview that he's ever done. And I was like, huh?
Aw.
Like he like linked to PKA. Like, we're the best Jordan Peterson interview. You must not watch many of them.
no, so we shaped up and we behaved a little bit.
We did, yeah. We put on our,
Yeah.
our dress clothes for him,
Yeah.
just like we did for Dick and Destiny.
Oh,
I
thanks.
don't even know what that guy's up to anymore. Is he even famous anymore?
Jordan
He's
Peterson.
in rehab.
Literally last week we were doing this show. We were recording. I walked out to go pee. I looked out my front door and I see her talking to 2 young guys with like their clipboards and shit. And I was like, I'm gonna have to deal with some sort of meeting now. And she came in later and I'm like, who were those people? And she's like, well, they wanted to redo your deck. And so I told them they could come by tomorrow at 5. And I was like, oh God. No, I forget about it. I'm getting home from something the next day and there's a car parked in front of my neighbor's house and this guy just gets out. He's like kind of a Chad, guy. He's got his like high and tight haircut, pretty good shape. He's like, hey, I'm Brad. I'm here from Porches Unlimited, and I'm here to take a look at your backyard. And I was like, what? He's like, well, your backyard? You set it up? You're Taylor, right? This is your house? And I'm like, yeah, man. My girlfriend gave you that info. I'm not interested. He's like, well, I can always just come around and take a look at your porch. What situation you got going back there? You said they got a crack. And then I was like, yeah, it's concrete. And he goes, whoa, concrete? We don't do concrete. He turned around and left. And I was like, oh man, that was real easy.
Got him, honey. Got him.
When I buy shit, I buy whatever the fuck the sticker price is. That is the only fucking thing I'm paying. I don't want the extended warranty. I don't want the fucking deluxe bullshit, whatever add-on you're trying to sell me.
Why?
Because 99%, because the commission, that's where people make their money. That's where the commission starts, the biggest profit margin items. Like, you're better off going aftermarket on any of these things and taking whatever the factory, whatever offered bullshit is.
My thought process is you wouldn't sell it if it was a good deal. Or if the only reason you want to sell this warranty is through your actuaries and whatever, you figured
Yeah, of
out
course.
that the
Yeah.
warranty's more expensive than the average damage.
Yeah, I'm not poor. I've got money. If shit goes wrong, I'll fucking pay for it. And I know I'm making more money in the long run because you wouldn't offer me this deal if it was actually saving money. Yeah. When I went to buy my car, the guy was ruthless. I have never, now as my years of streaming have gone on, I become a hardened, embittered person. I can be mean to people if I need to be. That's fine. I don't give a fuck anymore. Okay, I'm successful. I do my shit. But this guy tested me. So we go through the things. Okay, blah blah blah. Here's your interest. Blah blah blah. And and he starts. You're like, wow, you're a very smart guy. Like, I can tell. Blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. I try. And he's like, so I want to tell you a story. My wife was driving her van, across Omaha, and Omaha, real bad potholes. She destroyed a wheel and had to get it fixed. The wheel and the tire cost her almost $1,500. If you get this tire and wheel insurance or whatever the fuck it was, this is only $50 like every 6 months. Like it'll save you blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, that must have been a really expensive wheel. When I broke mine, it was only like $200 or $300. I don't want it though. Thank you. And he's like, okay. And then he went through like 3 or 4 different packages. And I was like, very clear. I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want it. Thank you though. And he's like, what if I told you I would take some money off the car to give you like the warranty? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I would just rather buy it. And he's like, you understand that all of the money that I make is coming from these sales. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to fucking say to you. Like, it's not my fucking job to pay your fucking check. Like, what the fuck? I'm not at fucking IHOP trying to give you a fucking tip for some pancakes. Like, I want a fucking car. Like, what the fuck? Why are you doing this to me? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but yeah, holy shit. And he was like, and as he's entering it in real passive ways, like, well, I'm just saying, like, I'm making pretty much nothing on this sale. It's like, what the fuck? It's not my fucking problem. Why are you making this my problem? This is your career, okay? It's just a sale for me, okay? This is your fucking life. You figure that shit out, all right? Jesus Christ.
This guy's a prick. I hope his wife gets in another tire wheel.
Holy fuck.
I'm tempted to slip him like a crisp $2 bill. Here, bro.
Oh, God.
I'd take one of those. I haven't seen one of those in a while. My dad told me sometimes it is shocking the number of people like in my life, like just like friends who've never mentioned it will be like, hey, I saw you had that Dick guy on. He's really funny. I like him. I'm like, don't listen to the show, please. Please don't listen. And my dad, he was like, I was listening to the show and it's a little out there, but it's very funny. It's very funny. I was listening to it in my office, but I found that I kept having to put my hand on the dial to turn it down when you would call someone for something. And so I just decided that's an activity for home. And I'm like, Dad, please don't listen. My grandparents have literally they know I do this. They're like Southern Missouri, like strong Christian kind of folk. And like my mom will be like, oh, I've listened to 1 or 2. It's very funny. It's a little raunchy though. And my grandma will be like, I am never going to listen to my little baby on that show because I don't even want to know the kind of things he's saying. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not listening to it.
My worst is when my real life and my like online life cross over. My dental hygienist is like, yeah, what's the name of your show again? Like, that shows you're a good person. You're not my demographic.
I had my sister messaged me like 2 weeks ago, and she told me, hey, my niece and nephew, her children, saw your last YouTube video and they thought it was really funny. And I'm like, your kids are like fucking 12 years old. Why the fuck are they watching my shit? I can't say that because I don't want to like, maybe they're watching a lot of other shit and I don't want to rat them out or whatever, but I'm like,
I dropped 2 F-bombs and 2 S's in the last 3 sentences. Why are your children watching this?
Yeah. It is funny though, like having to make that like so. That was the worst. Like in college, like I guess like I've been doing this show for like over 5 years now, and like trying to hit on a girl or something out at a bar, and this is 2013 or whatever. Podcasting isn't as well known with just normal people out and about on the college campus I was at, or at the bar I was at. I was out of college then, and like going up to a girl and starting to chit chat and then having a drunk friend be like, this is Taylor. He does a podcast. And I'd be like, well, I'm not going to waste time continuing this conversation because you're looking at me like I'm a fucking weirdo now. Tim, stop. I know you said you think it's cool. It's not. It's not cool. People are looking at me like I'm retarded and I don't care for it. And so, yeah, if you have a buddy out there, listeners, who does a podcast, don't bring it up in public. Don't. Yeah.
I think it's almost gotten to the point where it seems, maybe it's just because of the corner of the internet I'm in. It seems like every fucking person is a fucking podcast now. Like if you do anything on the internet, if you have a SoundCloud, if you have a fucking Twitch stream or whatever, you also just make a podcast. I don't know. Is it really that?
Do you look down on other if some guy says I have a podcast too, it's like,
fuck you.
When you hit episode 52, ring me back. Yeah,
because there can only be one.
Yeah. You're 11 episodes into your podcast. Get the fuck out of here. You don't have a podcast.
Give me a break.
Yeah, because you guys actually had like one of the first ones with like a bunch of like
but
gaming.
Not so elitist. You need 500 or 700 episodes. But if you're under 52, right, which to me is less than a year. Get the fuck out of here. You haven't done shit yet. You don't have a podcast.
How about that? I have an idea for a podcast. I got me and my buddies. We got so many funny stories. We're like, okay, yeah. Can I? I sell
the
life
worst.
insurance. That's what I do. Oh, what does your boyfriend do? He sells life insurance. Oh yeah, no follow-up questions at all. Great.
Literally, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, who owns an insurance brokerage, whatever the fuck, the other day was like telling me a story. And usually, when people who work in insurance tell you a story, it's painful. It's upsettingly boring. And he was like, "Yeah, hired this guy, thought he was the real deal." And then one day he wasn't hitting his sales quota. So I went in, checked his internet history, and turns out every time I'm not in the office, this motherfucker is researching shit about samurais in ancient Japan.
This guy's cool guy of the week so far.
And I was cracking up. I'm like, this guy rules. I want to meet him. It's like, and the thing is, he's a little Jewish guy. I don't know why he's so into the. I don't know. But he's. It turned out from 11 to 5 that day, he looked up the Yang Dynasty or some shit and just read about it. And so, yeah, that guy's getting fired.
I mean, that's what you should be concerned about if you're a parent, right? Not about them staying home and beating off relentlessly, but if you come back and check the history and it's 50 ways to study the blade that you've been looking at for 3 hours, that's a conversation you need to have.
He literally said that. He's like, and I found on YouTube like blade crafting tips. It's like, oh.
Well, the worst thing about being a parent now is like your parents can high road the fuck out of you. You know, when your parents scold you, we didn't do drugs when we were kids. Man, fuck bullshit. There is no fucking way that Woodstock happened in this country and every single one of you motherfuckers was as stuck up as you're acting right now. But I can't play that same card to my kid anymore. Now, if my kid gets in trouble when he's in high school, hey, Nathan, come on, dude, what are you doing this shit? He would just say, Dad, I watched the video of you in 2012 calling that Korean guy. I don't think you have much room to talk. I can't high road my kid anymore. I'm fucked, like, Jesus Christ. What do I say to that? Go talk to your mom. She doesn't have an online life like I do, I guess.
She'd be like, Nathan, it was funny then. It's funny now. That's neither here nor there. But you got to stop pulling shit-related pranks. As funny as it is.
I do think it's really cool. Everybody, or at least I wish I could have seen like my parents as kids, and not like in the fucking black and white or like the barely colored.
You are your
photos
parents as kids.
Yeah.
Or my parents as kids. As kids,
as a child.
Oh,
see them
okay.
as a
Yeah,
child.
to see like your parents as kids, parents as kids, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Just to see them like their mannerisms and their acting and everything. I think it's really cool that when our kids get older, like there's a lot of video, like what I was at 20, you could see videos of it and everything. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
or really
cool.
scary, I guess, depending on the legacy you have left behind.
The kids growing up right now are going to have beyond zero privacy their whole life. How many kids are growing up learning their first words as Alexa is logging them and sending them to the NSA?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane. Like, and then in the same breath, we'll be like, those Chinese people with their social credit system, crazy. Thank God that's not coming down the pike here, like quickly.
The worst experience you'll ever have when you date in your 30s, the worst experience you'll ever have is you feel like there's no normal, sane people to date anymore. And then every now and then you'll run into like a woman, and I'm sure women experience this with men. You run into a woman, you're like, holy shit, I found a unicorn. You're attractive, you're smart, you're awesome, you're so cool. How are you fucking single? And then you're with her for 2 weeks and you're like, oh, you're fucking crazy. And then you always find it. You always find the thing. Maybe you wake up and you have 87 missed text messages. Maybe she shows up after the second time you fucked and she's got like a suitcase with her out of nowhere. Like there's always something that makes dating in your 30s impossible. Oh my God.
Are you actively trying to date right now?
Well,
Or are you dating someone?
I have a girlfriend now, but she's like fucking 21 because, there you go.
Hell yeah,
Streamer
brother.
lifestyle, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Make compromises, I guess.
He's been dating for 6 years.
Stock is skyrocketing.
Oh, watch out. You can do that. You do the Drake move where you date him. Oh, well, she's legal. She's 18. I knew her since she was 12.
Yeah.
Not me. That's the Drake story. Okay.
That's the Drake. There was some story that got put out on Twitter from some rag, and it got removed because everybody was roasting him so hard. It was like this gay couple where they're like, we're an intergenerational couple. I'm 55. He's 22. People think we're weird, but ever since we met 7 years ago, we started, and it was like, what? You put that in the article? Like, why would you do that?
Every time you read the Reddit relationship, there's like a relationships help advice thread where people are like, oh, my problem, me and my boyfriend. And there's like a 20-year age gap. The first thing you're always looking for is when do they start dating? What are they starting? Like 22 dating a 32-year-old, started dating 1 year ago. Oh, okay. 23 started dating a 37-year-old, started dating 7 years ago. Something is not right here. Yeah.
Well, he was my history teacher.
Yeah.
And we went from there.
I might be crazy, but I feel like Tang was like a Capri Sun knockoff when I was a kid.
It was.
Didn't have,
It
like,
was.
commercials.
Well, it's short
Yeah,
The
for
commercials with the monkeys in space.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the Tang.
it's
yeah,
short
okay.
for Poo-Tang. But you can't say all that.
Nah, it's short for. I was
You're
so,
making
I
it
was
worse.
so fucking dumb.
It is what it is. I don't hide it. Yeah.
Short for Poontang. No, I remember thinking. I remember specifically asking my mom to get Tang at the store because I saw the commercial with a monkey in space drinking it, and I thought this is what astronauts drink.
They said
And
that. They were like the
yeah.
official drink of NASA.
Oh well, then I wasn't as
Didn't they?
What?
If that's true, that might explain why we don't have a shuttle program anymore. Wasn't an effective marketing technique.
Yeah. Where's Tang now? Not around. Poor Tang.
I don't know.
Surge has made a comeback. Remember Surge, that soda that had so much caffeine they like had to put warnings on it for kids.
Oh, yeah. That was popular when I was in high school, I think.
Yeah, it was popular up until I was like end of grade school.
Man, I remember how fucking sick it was when I was a kid. I always thought, like, if I got old, if I got like a lot of money, I'm gonna buy so much junk food and shit, and it's gonna be awesome. And then when you get old, you have to fucking watch your fucking weight. How shit is that? Like, I'm like, kid me is like, dude, go to the store and buy like 12 boxes of zebra cakes, and that's your fucking dinner. Just destroy it all. And now I like have to wear the consequences of like anything I eat for the next fucking 12 months if I'm not careful.
I spent the last 6 months trying to add muscle to increase my metabolism, and I don't think I've cut any fat at all.
That's one of my main reasons I squat so much is because I'm like, every bit of muscle I add,
more calories you can eat, more zebra cakes
I can burn. Like, and I like, you're right. I wasn't a junk food sweets person, but as a kid, I was like, man, when I'm an adult, pizza and wings all
the time.
And like in 1 year in college, probably like my sophomore or junior year, I fell into that for a couple months where I was just like, pizza and wings every night. I got fat so fast. so fast. I was delusional because you know how you get delusional when you're getting fat, where like you'll put on a different pair of jeans and be like, well, these never actually fit. So this isn't an indictment on my body or my character.
Oh no.
And then you have to go out and buy a new pair of like 36 waist.
I measure it with my belt loops to make sure I'm not getting fat, right? I should be able to go to the third loop every time pretty comfortably. But then you might have like some weeks where you're like, it's not that bad. I think I'm just a little bloated today.
I just had a lot of sodium yesterday.
Water and
What's the fattest all of us have ever gotten to? I got to 235 at my.
How tall are you?
My fattest 6 foot.
Oh, okay.
I looked shit though. I wasn't working out at all, so it was all fat weight, like just doughy, like terrible. How about you, Dick? What was the fattest you ever been?
I was 220 at the beginning of the summer. I'm 195 now. I lost it in a hurry because everyone was making fun of me. No, my girlfriend started getting really into Pilates, and I was like, "Oh, I'm the fat one now. Fuck this. I don't want to be Fred and Wilma Flintstone."
No, nobody wants.
But wait, you do want to be Fred and Wilma Flintstone, right? Like, is that not the goal to be King of Queens?
No, that guy looks horrible. No.
That guy's an asshole.
But his wife is way better than him.
Not in the later seasons, friend.
Okay. Well, we all know women expire at 25.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be another Mexican at the beach in the ocean with my shirt on. So, had to lose it.
What was your fattest?
222, I think, is the highest I've hit.
Okay. Well, damn, I was hoping someone would beat me.
Sorry, fatso.
What's the fattest you ever got to, Destiny?
Fuck, now I feel like an asshole for complaining. I got up to 165 and I'm 145 now.
Fatso.
Oh,
I'm a little shorter though. I'm 5'8", so.
Taylor, though, I don't know that my body fat was lower than yours. You're big. Like you're.
Yeah, I've always been larger framed.
Mm-hmm.
How much does your head weigh? Taylor? Have you?
That's at least 35 pounds of this shit, and it's like it's so frustrating because I fall into the same trap as Dick, where I'll be like, man, my head is so fat, I'm gonna shave some pounds. I went from that when I was at my heaviest to 235 like 5 or 6 years ago. I just decided, fuck this. People lose weight all the time. I'm fucking doing it. It's going to be not that bad. I just ate like 1,200 calories a day for like 3 months. I lost weight so fast that people at the job I had at the time were like, "Are you okay? Like, is everything good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. I'm just not eating like an absolute monster anymore." And I got down to 170, and at 170, I look weird, and my head did not get any smaller. At all. No cheek reduction, nothing. Just that was disappointing.
It's not that I can't appreciate all like female body shapes, but I appreciate them all the way into like the dangerously thin zone. And I don't know. It's Are you with me, Dick, or are you just making fun of me?
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I remember like Jackie in the early, she had her tonsils out and she couldn't eat, and she was 5'7" and weighed like 101 maybe. I thought it was hot. Like I was fine with that.
Holy shit.
Can you remove her tonsils again? No,
Sometimes I'll start a huge fight just so my girlfriend doesn't eat out of stress.
Damn.
That's a good move.
I always thought it was really weird. Have you ever touched like somebody that's like really small like that? If you want to like rub their shoulders and you touch their back, you think there's like no muscle. That's just you go right through to the bone, and it feels very. I don't know. I get really creeped out by it, but I guess
you get all those Auschwitz pictures going through your mind.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
you have to reach around and check for the distended belly to make sure she's not about to fucking explode if you feed her too much or some shit.
Dude, 5'7", 101. That is teeny.
Yeah.
That is not healthy. Level teeny.
No, it's not.
Don't say that.
But it's hot.
Don't say
Models aren't healthy. Models aren't healthy. What are they? Fitness models?
Healthy.
Yeah.
models are like 5'11", 6 foot plus. Like
101.
they can carry 101, 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I had a friend, like post college for a little bit, and then lost touch because he moved. But he was like 6'4", 140 pounds, and his body was baffling to look at. Like to see like an emaciated person put a belt on to where like then you can see the hip bones on the beginning of their pants because it's cinched in so close to their waist. Like I had a weird feeling of like you got to gain weight, and then also realizing like I was jealous of his situation. It would be kind of dope to be one of those guys who just doesn't want to eat that much. I want to eat a ton of food 24/7.
Taylor, me too. Are we weird or is everyone? I ate right before this show, 3 hours and 32 minutes ago. I want to eat right now.
Yeah,
I was actually.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was on the other end of this. When I was in high school, I was at 5'8". I weighed 105 pounds. I was super fun, and I actually hated it. I think it was 2012, 2013, because I looked like a fucking skeleton. My face was like very fucking thin, and gaining weight when you're at that level is very hard. The first thing that everybody says, including me, when you're that weight is, I can eat anything. I just have a really fast metabolism, I guess. Like I eat so much junk food and like I never gain weight. I can eat a whole pizza. And then you do the thing where it's like, you know, they tell you, well, count your calories. And then I find out, oh, well, I actually eat like 1,400 calories a day. When I eat a whole box of cookies, I just realize I don't eat meals for like a day and a half because it's, And in the process of actually like force feeding yourself to actually gain weight out of that like dangerous zone is really fucking hard. It's like incredibly difficult because you don't want to eat, and forcing yourself to eat is like a disgusting fucking feeling. Holy shit.
Yeah,
that's how I was.
Weight? Like drink weight gain shakes?
No, it was junk food. Like I had to get like really high sugary, like double stuffed Oreos and shit. And I just started like after like normal meals, like between it, I would always just grab like basically every habit that now I know to avoid gaining weight. Like don't leave out sweets, don't eat like really late at night. Like I used that to gain weight.
I can imagine if I didn't want to eat, like I want to eat like a Labrador. Like if you put whatever in front of them, they'll just eat until they're dead. But if I didn't have that, I can imagine the process of eating being really disgusting. if I didn't want to eat. It would feel like it would feel like kind of like shitting. Like you're just cramming all this chewed up mulch food into your throat. That'd be weird.
I can see how that there's a like I like watching like strongman stuff and like documentaries on YouTube. And there was this one guy who I don't remember his name, but there's like a whole doc about him on YouTube, and like it showed him doing he's enormous, not a bodybuilder, a strongman. So just built like a brick shit house, enormous, got that big bodybuilder gut or that big strongman gut that you can still somehow see some abdominal definition. And like he was sitting down for a meal, breakfast, which was like 14 eggs, 2 pounds of turkey bacon, and a bunch of asparagus. And like the documentarians were like, so how do you learn to enjoy the food you have to eat? Because you have to eat another meal like this in about 90 minutes. And he's like, it's just the job. I hate every second of this. I hate every bite. I hate every chew. I hate it. If I'm being honest with you, I hate this. It really, it pushes me towards depression.
Oh, wow.
The worst fucking thing that came out recently are these goddamn fucking AirPods, okay? When I'm walking down the street
The headphones.
and some guy, yes,
Okay.
when I'm walking down the street and some guy just starts fucking shouting, I'm like, oh shit, it's a fucking homeless guy. Not anymore. More often than not, it's some dude talking on his fucking AirPods. I can't tell the difference sometimes. So now sometimes we're walking down the street and some guy be like, oh, I fucking hate this fucking bullshit. I'm like, oh, some dude on his AirPod. It's a fucking crazy homeless dude. He's like, fucking kill me or some shit. Yeah, it's really weird. Those AirPods, when people are talking to themselves walking down the street, it's really hard to see who has them. That's kind of related. Sorry.
You don't
It's
want
annoying.
that.
And minor annoyance of mine.
Yeah, homeless people are very frightening, at least where I'm from, where like it seems like they could go off at any second.
Not here. They're like our most vulnerable people.
Probably everywhere. They're the
They
most
can be
vulnerable.
that, but also simultaneously
Deadly.
like what I'm describing, like where
I
it's
don't know.
like you'll walk by someone and like I remember like walking when I used to live in the city, like more downtown, like walking down the road at night, and you'd see a guy like ahead of you like talking to himself. And then you'd be like, that's weird. Maybe he's on his phone, like what you said. And then you get closer and realize he's like freestyling rap, and then be like, oh, this is a crazy person.
Yeah.
This is crazy. The holes in the pants, really.
This guy is
drive that
halfway
point
into
home.
another dimension. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel really bad for him, but also it's like, well, I guess we just got to reopen mental hospitals, right?
People always talk about,
pretty
like,
bad boo-boo from Reagan.
If like the Holocaust were to happen again, like we'd stop it in time, blah, blah, blah. I always thought that like being in the United States, and I especially feel this now that I live in LA and when I travel to San Francisco or Seattle, I always feel like walking around and seeing somebody that is like legit mentally ill, because I think it was Woody that said it, mental illnesses are like, it's 2 to 3 times overrepresented in homeless populations. Like having mentally ill people wandering around the streets, like screaming at themselves and like being crazy is one of the most fucked up things I think in the United States. Like I think it's worse than school shootings. Like it's like you every day, thousands of people, or in LA tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of people driving by, walking by, just like legit insane people that live on our streets. That's pretty fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking mad.
Yeah.
I like the when we put spikes in the ground so that they can't lay in front of. That's to add insult to injury. Any place you could sit in LA. I used to take the subway downtown every day from Hollywood, and it was you'd have to stand up all the time, no matter what, because every single thing that could possibly be a seat either has some kind of rivet or bolt.
Weird fucking
Yeah.
How big are
just
they?
so the homeless people can't sit.
Could you
down.
bring a pad and make it
You
better?
have to sit
No.
on homeless people.
Oh shit! That could be like a business, Woody.
Right?
Making
Like-
very cheap and affordable like molds that adopt to the anti-sip things you could sell to homeless people.
Homeless people.
I thought my market was
untapped
dick.
market.
All your business is cash, okay? So no fucking taxes. You make the supplies cheap and affordable because the city would probably adopt to new shit, so you'd have to be able to sell new shit. They can go and beg for money. And
Are you tired of sleeping on spikes? And there's some like befuddled homeless guy. It's like, try the hobo buddy and lay it on anything, and it shows them sleeping on people's porches. And
I don't know if you've seen these. Like gardeners will have like foam pads they bring around so that they don't have their knees on the ground, which can be uncomfortable. Like, why not just have like 4 times the size of that, and you could sit anywhere you want?
These are good
The
ideas,
insanity
guys.
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start
I don't
eating
care
them.
if they're insane. I only care if they have $18 or $19.95.
1995. 3 easy payments. Yeah. Well, being homeless would suck ass.
Yeah.
2 thumbs down to being homeless.
What if it's van life?
I do not want to live in a van. I know you try and talk up the pros of van life all the time.
Oh, it's
It's
where
living in a
it's
van is
shitty.
awesome if it's your choice. It's not good if it's your last resort.
Yeah.
What
Because
you're
the
a
guy
van
who's doing
life
it as a
guy?
last, yeah, he's a van life.
Is this
guy.
like a midlife crisis on the horizon, or
Dick, we've been doing Crisis since the start. All right?
We're at a 3/4 life crisis.
There's a couple guys in my universe that one actually has a house, but he has a van that he travels in. So it's just like his traveling vacation. I don't know. It's how he likes
Yeah.
to do it. So, and there's another guy who actually lives in his van right now. Although he could afford a house, he just likes not having roots for a bit. And it's maybe been 2 years, and he just lives the van life.
Oh, yeah. Where does he shit?
Yeah, I think you'd have
it's-
to be like a non-stinky person to do that, right? Like some people just kind of don't stink, they don't sweat. I am not one of those people.
Me neither,
So
but they
I
might
just-
be as I think about it. And the answer, Taylor, they almost all do the Planet Fitness thing. Apparently, Planet Fitness is just about everywhere. And of course, they have showers and bathrooms and stuff like that. So they go, they hit the gym, they shower up, and they're ready for their day.
That's so depressing.
They're ready for their
going
day of
into a
what?
Planet Fitness, hearing a lunk alarm go off as you're brushing your teeth. That fucking suck, dude. That life sounds awful. Like you could, like, if you don't have a home-based shit, what's life even living? Like,
But
Yeah.
I hear you. I don't know. You could argue the other way. You know, someone might say having to be somewhere all the time, like working Monday through Friday, 8 to 6 or whatever it is you do. Just, your whole life is have to do. And then
You're trying real hard to both sides this one, Woody. I don't know if you're going to win the other.
and then the other part of it is the van life, where it's like your whole life is want to do. You can do whatever you want. You get to choose your schedule. You wake up in front on the side of a mountain with the Grand Canyon underneath you, and so which one's the awful life?
I can
Yeah,
imagine
but you can't
myself.
like wear a cape if you're in a van.
You can't-
Then
The
you're
hell I
just-
can't.
If you wear,
No,
a,
there's-
if you wear a cape and you have a home, people are like, he's just doing a funny thing. But if you're in a van and a cape, you're getting committed, man.
Slide the door open and run out.
Yeah. Nope.
That's a good government program. Give all of the homeless capes. It keeps them warmer and it gives a little laugh to the rest of us.